Hello and welcome everyone to our next lecture, that is the Dutch from the modern history. So आज हम देखेंगे कि कैसे डच इंडिया आए and what all are the rivalries between the English and all, what all wars happened and what all are the major commodities in which the Dutch traded in India, and what all are the major centers, trading posts specifically in India, from which the Dutch has operated. So let's begin with our lecture. So in 1596, the first voyage, that is the Cornelis de Huntman, he became the first Dutchman to reach Sumatra and Bantam. So from here the Dutch has started their campaign in India. Uh, then in 1602 they have amalgamated, the state generals of the Netherlands has amalgamated the rival trading companies, like there were the different rival trading companies, so they have amalgamated them into a one trading company. You can say that was named by the United East India Company of the Netherlands, also known as VOC. That is, you can see here in the seal, that is the Verenigd Oostindische Company, some like spelled something like that. So those all rivalries were amalgamated into the one company, that is the United East India Company of the Netherlands, and then they started the trading activities in India. The unprecedented state powers were like they carry on the war. They concluded multiple treaties. They had many wars. Then they concluded multiple treaties in India. They took possessions of the multiple territories, and they have erected many fortresses at different trading ports. So we will see like what all trading ports were there, where they have built fortresses and operated from there. So the very first one was the Masulipatnam. So in 1605, the first Dutch factory is founded in Masulipatnam, that is in Andhra Pradesh, as on today. Then secondly, the second trading company, the second Dutch factory has happened like in Nagapattinam. So the Dutch has successfully captured the Nagapattinam. You can say it is in the near Madras as on today, from Portuguese. So this is a strategic shift of how the Nagapattinam has transformed into the main Dutch strongholds in South India, and how it directly threatened the Portuguese dominance which was prevailing over that time. Then after that, in the from Nagapattinam towards north, they have established one new factory in Pulicat, and strategically positioned it in the north, like north of Nagapattinam, you can say, or Madras as on today. And then these are the major trading ports, or you can say the factories. And these are the major trading factories in India. The Surat, and the years is also mentioned. So the names were like the Surat and Cochin on the west side, and Patna, Chinsurah, Kasimbazar, Balasore, Masulipatnam, Bimlipatam, Pulicat, Karaikal, and Nagapattinam. So you have to read out these names because they can be a matching questions in the examinations, like what all were the Dutch trading centers in India. So you have to directly mark it up. From the perspective of how they have operated, so they came from they came from Europe in search of the markets. They came to India, and from here they traded in like textile, silk, indigo, saltpetre, cotton. So these are all the commodities in which they extract these merchandise, or you can say the manufactured articles from India. Then they sail out to, you can say, the Far East. For them, they call it as a Far East. You can think of an Indonesia as on today. So from the whatever the merchandise that they carry from India, they used to trade it in Indonesia for black pepper and spices. सो यू कैन से वही, जैसे मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया था कि मीट को कुक करने के लिए स्पाइसेस लगती हैं, प्रिजर्व करने के लिए स्पाइसेस लगती हैं. सो एट दैट टाइम द स्पाइसेस वर वेरी प्रिविलेंट, एंड दोज वर द ट्रेडिंग दोज वर द डिसाइडिंग फैक्टर्स फॉर द ट्रेडिंग. So in Malay archipelago, they trade in Indian goods in exchange for the black pepper and spices, and whatever the profit they gain over that, like the black pepper and spices that they traded, they take it to the European markets and they sell it off, and they gain the huge profits. Then again they sell to India. So this is the cycle that I have created, so to easily understand how the trading activities used to happen from the Dutch perspective. Now coming on to the commodities wise, so these are the major commodities that they used to trade. The first one is indigo. You have to read out the location also, like you have to remember the locations also. So they extracted the indigo from the Yamuna Valley in central India. Then the textiles and silk were extracted from Bengal, Gujarat, and Coromandel coast. Then saltpetre, that is a salt, from Bihar. Opium and rice from the Ganga Valley, and the last one is the cotton that was extracted from the Pan India. So alongside the cotton, like the silk, indigo, rice, and opium, and these all were the backbone of the, or you can say the most important commodities that Dutch used to trade in. Next is the spark. Okay, everything was going fine. Like they were establishing factories in India, they are building fortresses, and they are trading good. They are extracting the merchandise and the commodities, and they are selling it off in the Far East. But at the same time, when the Dutch is expanding in India, so at the same time the English were also expanding. So you remember that I said the Captain Hawkins reached India in 1608, right? And it is the same time, like they have reached India in 1605 or so. So there was a you can say the expansionist rivalry between the two. So the English rise the prominence in the eastern trade poses a directly existential crisis to the Dutch. So as soon as the Englishmen reached to you can say the Far East, or you can say the Malaya archipelago, Indonesia, and all. So they came under the commercial interest and the threat for the Dutch, and the rivalry started between the English and the Dutch. And finally, when they reached the location was the Aboyena, which the Dutch has captured previously from Portuguese in 1605. At that location, Dutch has massacred 10 Englishmen and 9 Japanese. तो जापानियों का रोल हर जगह है. So Japanese were killed, 9 Japanese were killed, and 10 Englishmen were killed. And this has raised the sentiments among the Englishmen, and this broke out into a war, which led to you can say deciding factor, like who will be trading in what regions. So this brutal incident destroys any chance of the cooperations ultimately, like between the English and the Dutch, and it has drastically intensified the rivalry between the two European powers. So in 1667 the compromises were made. So the British has accepted to trade off Indonesia, trade off, they let go the Indonesia and the spice lands, and the Dutch has monopolized the Indonesia and the spice lands in Malaya archipelago and all. So and they have left India, which was where like they were trading majorly in the textile trade. So the British agreed to withdraw all the claims on Indonesia, leaving the lucrative spice monopoly to the Dutch, and the Dutch has agreed to retire from India to concentrate solely on their profitable trade in Indonesia or archipelago, Indonesian archipelago. A pragmatic division of the East that set the stage for the eventual total dominance of the British in India. So this was the deciding factor. You can say this war was the deciding factor, which divided the complete you can say geography into the two you can say the parts, where the one part was led by the British and the second part was led by the Dutch. Okay, so the Malaya distraction, how you can say what all are the factors that led to Dutch and the rivalry between the Dutch and the English, and what led for the Dutch to completely go off from India. So the first one is the Malaya distraction. The Dutch became increasingly drawn into the local trade and the politics of the Malaya archipelago. They were more interested into the Indonesian region, and diverting the vital resources from India. So when you concentrate more in some specific part, or you can say some specific trade, so you will they wanted to you can say use their multiple resources, like their vital resources in that region only, like instead of in India. Then the third Anglo-Dutch war. In the third Anglo-Dutch war, the communications between the English, the communication between the Surat and the Hooghly, you can say, or you can say the Bay of Bengal fortresses, the communication was broke out and breakout, and the Dutch has for the Dutch forces has captured the three homebound English ships in the Bay of Bengal, in the retaliation of which the English inflict a crushing defeat on Dutch, which is also known as the Battle of Hooghly, also known as the Battle of Bidara. So this deals with the final and the fatal blow to the English Dutch, to the Dutch and their ambitions in India. So this was a all in all Dutch, you can say, history from the perspective like how they came in, what all are the major ports, then what all the commodities, what are the major wars, and what all are the distractions, or you can say the ending results of Dutch in India. So we will synthesize why the Dutch left in India. The first and the primary geographic interest was Malay archipelago. We have seen like they from the very front from the very initial they were much interested in the Malay archipelago regions in spice, and also known as the spice lands of Indonesia. So they traded most, and they got profit from there. And the English, that is the Indian subcontinent after being pushed out of the Indonesia. So English has primarily geographic interest in India, and the Dutch has the geographic interest in Indonesia. So okay, win-win situation kind of thing. Then the what was the driving motive for Dutch? The driving motive was completely commercial one, because they focused exclusively on earning huge profits. So whatever the spices they are trading in Indonesia, they were selling off, like they are purchasing at very low prices, and they are selling it off in Europe at very high prices. So that it helped them in gaining a huge profits. So this was like a completely commercial like motive with the Dutch, how they could earn like major profits. So that's why they let go the Indian lands also. And for the Englishman, the commercial their main motive was to convert the commercial expandings into the political one, and they wanted to engage in empire building kind of thing to secure the trade in India. The third one is the stance on empire building. So Dutch was not at all interested in empire building in India. So they were unwilling to invest military capital, because like it needs a huge amount of the resources in to influx and in military resources to have an empire, to sustain it, and to run it. So that's why anyways, like the Dutch was interested in the profit, so they were never keen on doing so. uh, when compared to the Englishmen, that they were completely and progressively trying to build an empire in India with you can say uh, a huge you can say resources being invested in kind of a military capital and all, so that they can increase the territorial empire and gain the huge make the market and gain the huge profits from India. In the conclusion, the Battle of the Bedara, or you can say Battle of Hooghly, did not force the Dutch out of an empire, that is India, that they wanted. It merely was a strategic shift that led, or you can say that had been decades in making. So, since initial only how the Dutch was a profit-seeking, you can say organization, or you can say uh, mindset, which they came to India and they went to Indonesia, which ultimately led to like Dutch to completely monopolize the Indonesian or archipelago markets, and they took off their footprints from India. That's it from the Dutch perspective. Thank you everyone for listening. Do subscribe if you want to go for more lectures from like on the like I'll post out one video in 2 days, so you can have further lectures upcoming. Thank you. Do like and support. Thank you.